So hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're just going to do a complete walkthrough of the very popular DJI AIR 3. So we'll have a look here. So on the screen you can see up the top P mode, so which is program mode. So on the controller I'm using the RC2 controller. Now you could be using a phone and that's all fine and dandy. It might be subtle differences, but for this tutorial purpose I'm using the RC2. So you flick the switch here up the top, so P mode, normal mode. Flick it to the left and you can see on the screen it's in now C mode, which is cine mode. So flick it over to the right and that's sports mode. So in your settings, which we'll get to shortly, cine mode, everything is a whole lot slower to get that nice smooth cinematic footage as the mode indicates. Normal mode, you can still get beautiful smooth footage, just got to be a little bit more gentle on the joystick. Sports mode, that's for flying really fast. I think the AIR 3 has a top speed of 73 kilometers an hour. I don't think I've ever filmed in sports mode. I only ever use that to get the drone back to me quickly or get it to a position that I want really quickly. So over to the right off that screen we have takeoff permitted. So if you're in a authorization zone or a no-go zone, you will require to unlock the drone. Now I had to do that here because I'm within 5.5 kilometers of a controlled airport. So I've done that. To the right here, over there, you have a round circle and there's a number in there, and at the moment it says 91. So that's indicating 91% of my battery. And you see some 0000. Now that indicates flight time. Now the drone's not in the air at the moment, so it's not giving me any kind of indication of how much time I've got left in the battery to bring the drone home. In saying that, you will get warnings. You can set what time the warnings come on, but you don't, as soon as you get that first warning that you're getting low battery, bring the drone home, especially if you're a long way from the home point. You don't ever want to get the critical stage of the battery. Next to that we have RC, so that's basically your reception. As you can see, I've got 5 out of 5 bars, which is really good reception. Now next to that, to the right, a little bit hard to see, but that's the obstacle avoidance. Now if it's red like it is now, there's no obstacle avoidance on. If it's white, then all your sensors are working good. Moving further to the right, we have your satellites, and now mine's chopping and changing, so I've locked on to 25, now it's down to 24. But when you first start up your drone and the controller, you will build up to how many satellites. You don't want to launch a drone when that's red, because it means you haven't locked on to enough satellites to obtain a home point. And if you don't really want to launch a drone without a home point updated, wait to the controller tells you home point updated before you complete any mission. Over that we have the 3 white dots, which brings up settings, but we'll get to that shortly. Now go down to the right hand side, so click on that thing there and that brings up your options, photo or video. Now you can do that by pressing buttons up the top. On your right hand side is for your camera, still images, and your left hand side is for your video. Now to take a photo you press that one, and to start and stop your video you press the left hand side button up the top there. So in video mode you've got your normal mode, you've got night mode, which on the AIR 3 is fantastic. The low light capabilities of his drone at night using the night mode video module is absolutely fantastic. Slow-mo, film in that. Now that's around, I think, 100 frames per second. It's really, really slow-mo. But normal mode, then master shots. Now I can't demonstrate because the drone's not in flight. Now master shots is basically the drone flies for 2 minutes, and it just takes a whole lot of shots everywhere, all different angles, all different heights, and it completes all the quick shots. So, and it makes up a little clip for you without you having to actually do it. Now under that we have quick shots, which I just mentioned. Now again, I can't show you at the moment what they are, but because the drone's not in flight. Under that we have hyperlapse and pano. Pano is your wide angle shots. Really good to use. Now photo, as you can see, I'm extremely overexposed here, so I'll just click that onto auto. So go back into the photo section there. Now we have single shot, which is you can set in settings to either 12 megapixel or 48 megapixel. And below we have AEB, which is I shoot a lot in. It's fantastic. You get much more color out of it. It's auto exposure bracketing, so you can either set it to take 3 photos or 5 photos. And what it does, it takes, for instance, if you're taking 3 photos, an underexposed photo, one kind of in the middle, and an overexposed photo. You put it into your editing software like Lightroom, and it merges the photos together. You can do that, like I said, with 5 photos as well for even more in-depth or rich. It's your choice which to use. Burst just takes a very fast sequence of shots. Time shot speaks for itself. Okay, and underneath the main button, which is to start and stop your video, got a little box with the arrow, and that's just to get to your photo album. You quickly have a look. What we're doing now is taking a little while to load, so it shows all the photos and videos that I've got stored on my controller, and not just the controller but also the drone itself. So just click the top left arrow out of that. Now down the bottom here you have your map. Real handy. You can click the top left hand corner of the map and it brings up different variations of it, and the bottom right corner of that little map, and it'll show like a compass, and the blue arrow pointing indicates what direction the drone is facing. So with the Air 3, a recent update, or when I say recent, maybe about 3 months ago now, you can see little sensors act as cameras on the drone arms, which is a really cool feature, especially if you're flying in tight spots and not just relying on visual line of sight to see your drone, how close you're going, or relying on your obstacle sensors. You can see how close you are, you're getting to an obstacle, building, tree, car, whatever it might be. So we'll just collapse that. Now H stands for height, so that's your altitude, and shows you above that how much you're either rising or ascending or descending in meters per second. Your distance, it tells you how far the drone is away from the controller. Storage tells me how many photos I can got left available to store. Format, now you can either shoot in just JPEG or JPEG and RAW. Now RAW leaves all your photos or videos open to so you can actually go full hog and edit more. JPEG, great for just social media if you get a great shot and you just want to post it up on your socials, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be. it's fine and dandy for that, but if you're a little bit creative and you want to make your photos stand out, always shoot in RAW, just so you can edit more. Your EV meter is just like overexposure, underexposure. We'll get more into that. Auto, you click on auto there. Now, as you can see, like I was before, I've just clicked on the Pro. I'm terribly overexposed, just totally blown out. So I'm just going to click on there. So my shutter speed is way low. I'm going to make it a whole lot faster, and as you can see, as I'm scrolling along the shutter speed, it's bringing my EV meter down. Now, ultimately, you want to aim for 0 or negative 0.3. So that gives you, it's better, easier to edit and make a photo darker than it is, to make a photo more lighter, sorry, than it is to make it darker. So here, without going right into the settings, you can click on the corresponding number. So it goes up the top here, and we've got white balance. Now you can click on auto or lock in the white balance manually. Now if you set it, whatever you set it to, that's what it's going to shoot in, no matter what. Now it is good, much better to set your white balance manually, because as your drone changes direction, you might find there's going to be a little flicker, and it might just look a little bit funnier. So if you want that true cinematic footage, get that white balance locked in. Finding the correct white balance is a little tricky, so it basically depends on cloudy and sunny days, and more in-depth if you're shooting under fluorescent lights or neon lights, etc. So under that, like I said before, format, you shoot in JPEG. Now this is for photos. Shoot in JPEG, RAW only, or JPEG and RAW. I like to shoot in JPEG and RAW. Aspect ratio 4.3. Now that's the preferred ratio for all social media platforms. Resolution, like I said, you can shoot in 12 megapixel or you can shoot in 48 megapixel. Now don't let that number 48 megapixel fool you, thinking that it's a whole lot better than 12 megapixel, because technically it might be in some aspects, but 12 megapixel will give you a not completely different photo, but a different photo nonetheless. Storage tells me how much I've got left on my SD card, and total storage on the SD card within the controller. Now we get out of there. So now we'll go up to the top 3 dots in the top right hand corner there, up the top. Okay, so let's start off with safety. Now, obstacle avoidance action. Now you can set your drone, if it comes across a tree or some kind of other obstacle when it's in the air, to bypass it, so to go around a tree. To brake, it'll just come to a stop and it won't do anything else. Or you can have it off altogether, and you do that at your own peril. I fly with bypass. Now bypassing options, your normal or nifty. Now nifty, I don't know a lot about, but there is a warning about using it. So if there's a warning, there's inherent risk involved. I will not use nifty. Normal's good enough to me. Radar map, which I showed you before on the main screen of the controller. Advanced return to home. So if you click optimal, the drone's going to find the quickest and easiest way home. Now, but in saying that, it may not take into consideration any obstacles that are in the way. So I like to preset mine. So, which is now auto return to home. Now you can set your parameters, how low or how high you want it to go. So now it's basically dependent on your surroundings. So I have mine always set at 50 meters, but whenever you get to a site, always check your surroundings, and if there's like 80 meter buildings where you're filming, you might want to set that higher if your drone has got to come anywhere near the buildings to get home. So update your home point, only done in flight. AR settings, now this is a cool little feature that was with the update a few months ago. Shows the AR home point where you are. AR return to home route. Now that shows an arrow in the direction that it's following, going to go, sorry. AR aircraft shadow, that just shows you like a visual representation of the drone, where it's going to land, and make sure everything's nice and smooth there. Your maximum altitude, now here in Australia and many other countries, is 120 metres, which is 400 foot. So I can't fly it higher than that legally, so I set it at 120 metres. Your maximum distance, you set that whatever you want it to go. So I've got 7,220 metres, but that's all adjustable to what you want. So just leave it anywhere in between naught and what's it go up to, no limit. So, well, that's a bit scary. So your sensors, compass normal and IMU normal calibrate. Don't touch those unless the control tells you to do so. Battery info. Now this is a handy little feature to check the health of your batteries. So you click on that and you can see the 4 cells in my battery. Now they're all around about the same, 4.05 volts in each cell. Tells me the temperature of the battery and total voltage. And down the bottom there's your battery serial number. But battery cycle count, now this is very cool. It tells you how many times that battery has been charged. Now in one of my previous videos I've demonstrated that every drone battery has a life expectancy, and the closer you get to 250 charges of each battery, individual battery, the less performance you're going to get out of it. So I'm a long way from 250 charges on this battery count, but keep an eye on that, it's always good to know. So if your flight time will be considerable less the closer you're getting to that number of 250. So we get back out of there. Your auxiliary LEDs, now you can have them auto, on all the time, or off. I have it auto, just let the drone decide what to do. Aircraft front arm LEDs, I have it on auto. So in auto mode, as you can see, the front arm LEDs will be turned off during shooting to ensure shooting quality, is not affected. You can have them on, and that's virtually just so other people can see the drone more easily, or you can see the drone. I have it on auto. So when it's flying along, those front arm LEDs are on, but when you're taking a photo or video, they'll go off, so there's no like glare coming off and affecting the photo or the video. Unlock GEO zone, so that's if you're flying in a restricted area. Like I said, I am in an authorized zone now, so I had to apply to do that in here. So if you unlock a proper GEO zone on the DJI fly map, if it's accepted, it's on your controller, then you press click, import to aircraft, and then you'll be able to fly. Find my drone. So in the unfortunate circumstance of your drone crashing and you don't know where it is, you click on that. It'll give you some kind of visual representation where it is, and press start flashing and beeping if you can hear that. So now the LED arms are flashing and it's beeping every 5 seconds or so. So just stop that. Advanced safety settings. A signal lost, what do you want it to do? So if you just flying along and out of range, out of reception, or and signal's totally lost, you don't want it to hover in place. You don't want it to descend, especially if you're over water or you land on someone's head or someone's car. Return to home. The safest and most sensible choice to make. Emergency propeller stop. Now that's to kill the drone if there's dire consequences are going to occur, like you're going to fly into a group of people. Kill it, and it's better kill the drone than kill the person, right? Then you've got your vision positioning, obstacle sensing, and your air sense. Air sense is pretty cool. Lets you know when there's any other manned aircraft in the area, and tells you pretty much just get out of the way of the aircraft, or at least descend to a safer altitude. Okay, we move along to control. Units, metric or imperial. So I've got my metric in meters. Display zoom, now that's just for your controller, standard or larger text. I have on larger text. I've got the seeing eyeglasses on, so I need larger text. Subject scanning, now that's for single shot photos and when you're recording video. So it's like active tracking. When it locks onto a subject, a little cross or an X will appear if you, on whatever subject it may have locked onto, or actually what you are able to lock onto. So if I, for instance, one of those boats out there, which the drone has moved away from, if I wanted to lock onto that, I'd press the cross and it would lock onto that boat and just totally focus on that, even if that boat was moving. So very good to have. Smart shot settings. This is to do with tracking. Now with the tracking a person, active tracking 360 a person, you can set your inner radius, how close you want the drone to go to you, and the outer circle, how far you want it to be away from. The height, the same. Inner height, when it's in close to you, how high you want the drone, or how low. Outer height speaks for itself, exactly the same. Now vehicle, all you can do is adjust the camera motion, either film normal or fast. You can't, there's no other parameters that you can change. So out of that one, gain and expo tuning. Now this is where I said city, normal and sports mode have all different settings, and as you can see on the screen, I'm in normal mode at the moment. If I click on city here to the left, you can see my all my settings have changed. So just at the top, max horizontal speed is 2.5 meters per second. That's how fast the drone's going to go in a straight line. Now if I just clicked normal, it's going to go 12 meters per second. I put it on sports and it's 21 meters per second. Now man, that's pretty fast for a drone. So just put it in normal and you can just play around with those settings. There are other tutorials stating what all those settings do. Gimbal mode, follow mode, FP mode. So FP mode is when the gimbal's going to go side to side, up and down. Follow mode is what I use all the time. Gimbal calibration, normally the drone just, or the controller tells you when that's needed to be done. Stick mode, with mode 2, which seems to be one of the most popular modes. So virtually that's your up and down is your left joystick, left and right, and forwards and backwards your right joystick. RC calibration, and like I said, calibrations is normally when you get told to do it. Flight tutorial comes in handy, just learning a few things, and I tell you what, with a drone, you never stop learning. All right, so we'll get back out of there. Histogram, now this is really cool to have. Now click on that, so I'll get back out of this screen, and it shows you your exposure. whether you're underexposed or overexposed. So it's not doing much at the moment because the drone's stationary. That really cool feature to have. Now, overexposure warning, you click on, and as you can see, when I've just clicked that on, you can see all these red, like zebra type of stripes. Now that's wherever you see that in the camera view, that means it's all totally overexposed, so you have to adjust your settings to compensate for that. And I find if you're using the histogram, you don't need the overexposure warning. So just a word on that overexposure warning. If you do have that on, those red and white zebra lines, they will not show on your photo or your video. They're just there on the screen. So I have that turned off, and I just use the histogram. Your grid lines, now these are really cool. So you can have your cross, which we'll go back and have a look. So you just use the center of the cross as your main focus area. Grid lines, or you have your dot. Now you can have all three going, and it just makes your screen look pretty busy. I tend just to use the grid lines, and that's for the rule of thirds. And when you're composing your shot, it's always good to have your shot, your subject off center or whatever it might be. But I use the grid lines in that for those circumstances, or you have nothing there whatsoever at all. Personal choice, whatever you're most comfortable with. Now, frame guide. Now, the Mini 3 Pro, and I'm not too sure about the Mini 4 Pro, it has true vertical, meaning that the gimbal, you can go from normal wide angle, or horizontal I should say, and you can switch the gimbal to go vertical. And at Air 3, unfortunately, we can't do that, but you can set your frame modes, all different ones. So widescreen, mobile, film. So to get those, especially for Instagram, if you want to get that true vertical mode, and easiest way to do it is just go 916 vertical, click on that. Now the drone's not in the air, but what it will do, it will shade out a section off the screen to the right and a section off to the screen to the left. Shade them out, and just in the middle I have a frame, and that's where you need to keep your subject or whatever you're filming in the middle of that frame. So very handy little feature. So that can be turned on and off, and all different variations going on personal choice. Your white balance, as I said before, manual auto, and then you've got your storage. Transmission, just your frequency. I'll have dual band on, channel mode, auto. Now these just factory settings. I see no reason to change them. About, now it's your name if your drone, your Wi-Fi, your model, app version, aircraft firmware. So always good to check. You're not always told that there's an update available. So go into your about section periodically and click check for updates. We'll do that right now. Checking version. It says your firmware is up to date. Now if there was an update available, it would say so, and you click on that and it'll go through the process of updating the firmware. And there you go underneath, current firmware and your fly safe data. So your colour. Now you can see I've got D-Log M highlighted. Now that is the colour grade, the colour mode which enables you to colour grade and to actually edit your footage a whole lot better. Now when you're filming it and the results before editing and colour grading looks very flat and kind of dull, but it gives you a whole lot more room to work with. HSG, which I'm pretty sure hyperlog gamma, It's in between normal and D-Log AM. I don't use it. Normal, if you're just posting to social media, normal is fine. H2, coding format, codecs H2.64, H.265. H.265 is apparently better, but if you've got an older computer, your computer's going to struggle to process anything coded in H.265. Now, in saying that, go back to D-Log AM, the coding format is H.265. I don't have the choice like I do in normal to select 264 or 265. Format, MP4, and basically they're your settings. So 4K 30, really good for cinematic footage. Put it in cine mode on the controller. Pick your flight mode, Pro. Now, just because you click Pro doesn't mean you're going to get Pro footage. You have to play with your settings, and it doesn't mean you're Pro either. Auto does a fantastic job and captures really, really good footage. These DJI drones are popular for a reason, and that's because the technology they have is fantastic. So anyway, I hope all that helps. Give you a good rundown on the Air Free. One thing, sorry, I just remembered something. So on the back of your Air Free, or of your RC2 controller, you've got two buttons here. Now, this button, I'll just put the drone, hang it out a little bit more there. As you watch on the control, so you designate these in your settings, what these buttons to do. So my left controller, if I click that, it's going to make the gimbal go down 90 degrees instantly. Click it again, back up. Now my right button, I've designated that to have auto exposure locked on. So that means whatever direction the drone changes to, from east to west, if the sun's over here and the shadows over there, the exposure is going to be still the same as to where I locked it on. And you got your zoom on your right scroll wheel, and your left scroll wheel adjust the pitch of the gimbal. So as you're flying along, be nice and smooth, or you can do it really fast. Now all these gimbal settings are in your gain and expo tuning section. So like I said, I hope all this helps. Please subscribe, hit the like button, give a thumbs up. It's always appreciated, always goes a long way. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.